When I say it, it sounds very crude, but when you read in the book, it doesn't sound that crude. But that's the fun of your book, I think. And here, I'll just read two lines from this book, where at page 18, like the book has just started. It says, "At that moment, sprawled on my bed, changed my whole life. I was free all of a sudden, free of the burden of knowledge, and therefore of any morality that proceeds from knowledge. Only feelings counted, and sensations." Now, do you think this summarizes in some way the way the book is going to take shape, or it has something?
It's certainly one of the threads in the book. There are many times that Anamika returns to that idea. And there are other times when she realizes that her real life is just not like that. I mean, you're never that free, and there are constraints, and there is a tremendous amount of constraint at certain times. And so the balance for her, the thing that she's going to have to look for in her life is to understand to what extent she's free, to what extent she's not, and to understand how to make peace with the two. And I mean, in some sense, the beginning of all philosophy is skepticism and doubt. And this is, in some ways, her moment of such extreme doubt. She's doubting everything she knows. And instead of being afraid, she becomes free by freeing herself of knowledge. But then she comes back to reality as well, because she is 16 and she has these extremes. One day, she's completely certain about herself, and then the next day, she's less certain. And that tension permeates the whole book.
You have received very good compliments from many people who are related to film industry, as well as like Meera Nair has also.
No, actually it's the writer Meera Nair.
Okay, that gives me some confusion there, but that's fine. What I was thinking was, if somebody wants to make a movie on your book, would you look at it as something you want to happen, or you're not very keen on that?
Sure. I think I would look upon it as something that could be very successful, and I think a beautiful movie, a visually beautiful movie, could be made. I think certain things might have to be altered a little bit. There's a lot of use of quantum physics, for example, in the book, which it works when you're reading it. But I think that when you're seeing it in a movie, it's hard to translate. So a different kind of metaphor would have to be found. But I think it is very visual, I think, as a book.
Right, and let me talk about the way you deal with your subjects and the theme that you take, talking especially about Babyji. And so there is certain kind of courage that is needed, because you are allowing yourself to think out of the box and go to those areas which usually people don't go easily. So that is one. And secondly, there is this powerful creative thing in you which lets people flow with the flow of the story in an effortless manner. So now this courage and creativity brings me to the third point, wherein you have a certain kind of power in making people see the world that you have created. So how do you want to use that power? I mean, do you think there is certain direction that you would like your reader to go to with the book, or after they finish with the book, or what is, let's summarize what I just said, is what is the purpose of writing?
I think I don't have a singular purpose of writing, but I do think that given my own background and my own thoughts and the fact that I've been sort of philosophically inclined, I do like to always push the edges and push the envelope, because I think that in the long run, if everybody is a little bit more broad-minded or open-minded about things that they're not open-minded about, the world would be a better place. But that's really not my agenda. I mean, it's to tell a story always, and each book is different. I mean, the next one is going to be completely different from these two.
Do you have it already there? A seed is there?
Yes, I actually wrote it over the summer, and it takes place in Paris and in New York, and it's a very different story, and it's about a very different kind of character who's much older. And in the end, I mean, I don't have the power to look at my own future and where my own creativity is going to go. But I think, maybe in another 5 or 10 years, as I continue to write, some idea will emerge, maybe that I want to take somewhere. But right now, it's per book. Whatever, something grips me and I decide to do it. And I think my allegiance is to writing. And to a certain extent, an aesthetic allegiance. I do want things to be beautiful in some way, if it's possible, rather than just be ugly. But I don't know if I'll continue to have that aesthetic allegiance either as time goes on.
On that beautiful point, let me ask you, is there any book that you consider created beautiful impression in you, written by somebody?
There are a lot of books. I think there's a certain kind of writing I find beautiful. There's a French writer called Marguerite Duras. I like her books. I think Oscar Wilde's Portrait of Dorian Gray is a very beautiful book. But there are a lot of books that I would classify primarily as beautiful. And then there are others that I would think of as extremely intellectual or philosophical or otherwise.
That is so nice, and it was beautiful talking to you, Abha. And let me just leave our viewers with this line that was written about your book in the weekly, that Babyji is an impressive balance between moral inquiry and decadent pleasure. So you may look forward to read this, depending on what is it that you are looking forward to, and what are you looking forward to as you move on with your writing career.
Another book, and then another book, and then another book, forever.
Very good. So that word forever leaves us here, where we look forward to things happening creatively and making our world a better place, a beautiful place, with additional inputs from people who can think out of box courageously and creatively, bring something new for us to cherish. We were talking to author of Babyji and mini planner Abha Davesar. This is Ashok Vyas. Thanks for being with us.